Hey all, Heretic here, and today on the Battlegrounds we're going to be talking about heroes. How do we choose them? Which one's the right one? Now, before in the past, we had our very set meta. We knew which abilities were the best, and we had the difference between armor and ability strength, so we knew which one we should take most of the time. But now in the quest meta, where higher armor means easier quests, that means heroes who might have an ability you might never use during the duration of the game. If you're playing Guff and you never touch that hero power beyond maybe turn 3, that's fine. Because why not? Just sit back, relax, complete your quest in a turn or 2, depending on the quest, because the one that completes in 2 to 3 turns might be better than the one you can complete in 1 turn. It just makes more sense to take these high armor heroes. And a lot of the low armor heroes can get beat down really quick because their quests are harder to complete. If you have no armor, and your quest is harder and your hero power doesn't give you instant crazy value, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So let's start by talking about high armor heroes. Anything with 15 plus armor is good. The higher, the better. Now, if their hero power also works in the particular lobby you're in, and it just has an ability that you're familiar with, you know how to utilize correctly, obviously that's going to be better. So let's talk about the ones I like with high armor that are some of my favorites to play. Now, Sneed is a really easy example of a decent hero in the quest meta, but a horrible hero in the normal metas. His hero power is you target a minion and it summons a minion of a tavern tier lower, or 1 if it's a 1. Can't go lower than 1. And it's random, whatever it is. Well, if your quest is to summon minions, get death rattles, so many different things, Sneed's hero power is really good. And because of that incredibly high armor, Sneed gets easy to complete quests. So if it is a summon or a death rattle quest, you're going to breeze through it. Eudora, I've always liked Eudora. I like that randomness. I like that you're going to get a gold card. True, it's probably going to end up being a low tier card, but you're going to get one. But then you're also going to get a triple off that card. And really, you only use that hero power once, typically during a duration of a game, but it feels really good. And in the quest meta, you just hang on to that hero power. You kind of use it sparingly. You don't gas it like you usually do, where you're like, all right, I'm going to use this so I can get a 4, 1 to 4 gold and then a 5. No, you don't worry about that now. Now you want to prioritize completing your quest. And then if you can manage to pull it off, you get it when you can get it. It's just not a priority. But when you finally do get it, if you've completed your quest already and you've gotten some value out of that, maybe that just gold card you get, or at least the triple, is going to help you get there. Then later you just remove the hero power. Don't worry about it if you're lucky. The Jailer in the normal meta is not good. He's too slow. You have to basically play undead or beast or mech, something where you can get a lot of tokens, keep dying, and slowly ramp up that power. That's not good. But in the quest meta, you're already summoning a bunch of stuff. He's got high armor, so the value of him isn't that he can eventually buff a minion. And in the late game, if you've buffed up your hero power, this is really good. It's because he has high armor, you can complete your quest fast. So normally where Jailer would die in that mid-game area where he's really suffering because his hero power does nothing, he's just trying to have stuff die, you complete your quest. If your quest in any way is a minion that wants to be buffed, you now have a hero power that has been slowly ramped up and you can start getting some value out of that. And because you complete the quest so fast, Jailer makes it easy. Brucon is so good in the quest meta because if you get a summon quest, you need a buff quest. Just the fact that he lightnings is always useful against divine shields. Brucon is very versatile and works really well in the quest meta, especially if your quest is summon minions or have minions attack, have friendly minions die, have enemy minions die. Brucon's hero power in the early games really gives you that horsepower because you can give all your minions, 4 of your minions, death rattle summon a 1/1. That helps you complete so many different quests. That makes Brucon, with his already higher armor value, really effective, and his lightning ability to cancel divine shields, random but still very dependable in the late game, makes him good forever. It's one of those hero powers you don't mind just keeping it because it helps you complete the quest in the early game and it counters some builds in the late game. I mean, Jandice, what cannot be said about Jandice? Right now, high armor, decently high armor, and a hero power that lets you cycle a minion on your side of the board back to the shop. Oh, do you need to play a certain tribe, but you can't find it, but you have one? Send it back to the shop. You need battle cries? Send one back to the shop after you play it. There you go, another battle cry. Oh, Murlocs are completely cuckoo banana busted right now? Guess what? You're Jandis, that primal fin, throw it back to the shop and play it again. Who cares about the quest? You've got 12,000 Murlocs. Have fun. Your opponent isn't, so you might as well. Kurtrus. I love Kurtrus. Kurtrus he drives me crazy sometimes, but especially, if you have pirates, Murlocs, elementals in, that ability to buy the third card in a turn gets a lot easier. It's going to make it so you generate triples easier. It's going to help you complete a lot of quests because, hey, if you needed to buy a certain type of card and you bought 2 out of 3 of them, odds are when you get that extra card you generate, you're going to be making what you need. That is a big, big value in the quest meta. In the later game, when you're starting to buy really key minions, all of a sudden you get an extra one. It's just important to remember with Kurtrus, spells don't count. So if you buy 2 minions in a spell, you're not generating another spell. You're not getting your minion, you're just getting 2 minions in a spell. You have to buy 3 minions to activate it. Putricide. Putricide is in an interesting state right now. I kind of really like Putricide, not because I want to play Undead, because I generally kind of mixed feelings on Undead, and it gets more confusing when you're Putricide. Now you have your creations on the board, and then you get pieces of a comp you want to put down, but you want to keep your creations because they're good, and now you have to get rid of them. It's too much. It's too much congestion on the board. If you use those hero powers, say at tier 4 or 3, even the first one, and then 2 more on 4, you're probably going to get economy and at least tempo, stuff to help you complete your quests better. That means you can move on from Undead into any other build. And if, hey, happen to stay Undead, all the better, because you've got those creations who've been slowly ramping up your stuff, whatever way they're doing it. So get rid of them and replace them with, better high-level Undead when you get there. Don't worry about it. Chenvala. Chenvala is one of the better heroes and then one of the most frustrating heroes. And the reason for it being is simple. You just need to play elementals, right? How hard can that be? Your first shop, no elementals. Second shop, you won, but you want a tier. It's not really great. Third shop, no elementals. Fourth shop, no elementals. Turn 8, no elementals. Those games are going to happen. But if you roll average and you find a decent bit of elementals, you're tiering faster than everybody. You have higher armor. Chenvala is definitely worth looking into because that ability to tier faster is always going to be valuable because it's gold you are saving. You're not spending on tiering and you're buying more minions or spells, completing your quest faster. So Chenvala is easy sell. Sindragosa. I love Sindragosa. And the reason being is simple. Sindragosa buffs the shop. Sindragosa has high armor. Sindragosa can freeze 1 minion in particular and just give you that minion or a spell even. You won't get a buff on it, but hey, at least that spell will stay behind. Sindragosa's targeting ability is really good. If the shop is garbage and there's 1 minion you want, target that 1 minion with your hero power, then don't worry about it. At the times when you want the whole shop or you want to buff the whole shop, maybe you're eating it, it's important to remember that your hero power applies first. So you will freeze the shop, it will buff the shop, and then if you have any last minute triggers, like say, I don't know, a Fellbat or say a young Murkai triggering a Peckish Feldrake, those are going to happen after the buffs are applied. So you're going to get more stats from that hero power just by doing that. Yeah, the spell will be left behind, but boo-hoo, you get all those extra stats, so who really cares, right? I like Sindragosa a lot, and with all that extra armor, they're much better. Tess Greymane is Tess. She could copy her last opponent's board of basic minions, whatever they were. They're just normal versions, but who cares? If you don't have direction, they do. You fight AFK on turn 3, AFK kicks your butt, go borrow her board. Why not? Tess is really, really good in any meta. So Tess really does hold up. I think Tess is in a good place right now. Now, there's always the games where you play and no one ends up playing what you're playing and you just kind of have bad luck. And there's the games where everybody plays what you're playing and you just get to cherry pick everything you want. Thorum. Thorum is tough because Thorum has no hero power essentially to like turn 8 and 9, depending how your economy works out. Well, meanwhile, your opponents do. His armor is relatively high. So you're going to get a quest that you can complete usually in decent time. When I play Thorum, what I usually want to do is if the tier 7 minion gives me any kind of power or any kind of clear direction, typically going to go for a quest I can complete as fast as possible, because not having a hero power is really a problem. My hero power giving me a minion late in the game is great, but I gotta get there. I have to survive. And if I get there, if I get a Moria and I'm sitting there with 8 health, it doesn't really matter, because Moria doesn't generally going to trigger enough death rattles that are going to be impactful enough or give me enough battle cries in that last turn before I die to really make the difference, because they usually don't appear till the end of your shop phase on that turn you do get them, unless you've been really lucky with economy. So Thorum's kind of a mixed bag. I do love playing Thorum though, because I like the tier 7 minions. For the most part, they tend to work out pretty well. And, and then there is a sea of other heroes that there's not really much to mention. Your Kel'Thas, your Maiev, your Reno, your Sarge. They just have high armor and they get the quest done. There's no magic to playing some of them, especially in case of like Kel'Thas or Reno. It's like, oh, I found the best minion, I'm gonna make it gold. Or Kel'Thas is like, I'm gonna buy minions and one's gonna be better than the other. Just make sure you play them in the right order. There's no real magic to them. High armor just makes the game easier right now. Heroes with medium armor. So these are heroes where their armor's not really low, but it's also not terribly high, but their abilities kind of balance it out. Terran Gorfine, an easy example of this. I love Terran, one of my favorite heroes. The ability to trigger death rattles before combat, to be completely uncounterable in regards of your hero power, means you can get more value and you can really complete some quests quick. And, just triggering death rattles early is always powerful. N'Zoth, once again, is going to copy all the death rattles that trigger before it dies. And that means it's going to summon more stuff. It's going to destroy more minions. It's going to attack more times. You really have to take into account all these different quests with him, but he really can help you complete quite a few of them fast. The trap card, Sire Denathrius, probably one of the most played heroes in the quest meta, and also one of the worst, because you really need a balance with Sire. If you're going to play Sire Denathrius, do this. Take a easy to complete quest and then take a big scaling quest if you can. That way, if you can get a nice easy to complete tempo quest or economy quest, you can then complete that scaling big value quest faster, or at least safer. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm going for 2 big quests. My first one is buy 20 minions. And I'm like, that's 60 gold just on minions, not counting tiering. I mean, if you want to start a quest like that, turn 1's the turn to start that. That's just a bad quest, buying 20 minions. Don't do that. Yeah, if you make it to an APM game, you're going to, but yeah, you were already winning or doing really well if you got to an APM game anyways. You're just winning more. Take a quest that's going to help you win, not something that's only going to help you win if you're already winning. That's just not really going to help you. A lot of people I see play Sire really swing for the fences a little too hard for him. You got to get one of those quests that you can complete fast. That's going to help you make a difference in that mid game, so you can survive to get a bigger quest done, or at least tier up fast because you've got 2 economy quests or tempo quests, so you can get to those tier 6 minions and try to pedal together some kind of win con over there. Flurgle is phenomenal. Murlocs thrive, as you can probably know completely, in the quest meta. Murlocs are nutty. They're reproducing out of control, massive stats. They're kind of unstoppable in some games. In a lot of games, and most games. They do lose occasionally. That's only because half the lobby's trying to play them. So yeah, someone along the way isn't going to get all the pieces and parts, but Murlocs are really, really good. And Flurgle, hey, yeah, you don't have much armor as Flurgle, but who cares? You are getting extra cards. You're selling your cards randomly and then getting just Murlocs. They're just showing up. Yeah, you got to sell 5, but that just means you're buying cards where you cycle more. So you're more likely to complete quests because you're buying more minions out of the shop and you're cycling cards and then generating free cards. So Flurgle is going to be an easy sell for me, and Murlocs being so strong right now makes it kind of a no. And one of the heroes I love a lot in the quest meta is Voon. Voon's hero power of every 3 turns, you get a copy of the leftmost minion in your hand, is really good. And I really love him, especially on turn 3, right off the bat, because turn 3 is the turn I hold cards anyways. I typically do not want to play out my hand on turn 3. Now in low armor heroes, I usually will tend to play them more depending how low the armor is, because I don't want to die. But in the case of Voon, I'm going to get extra cards. which means I can complete my quest faster theoretically. Now, I don't know what it is on turn 3, but it certainly, is in my interest to have as many, tribes, battle cries, whatever in my hand, just ready to go for when that turn starts with the quest. And now I have an advantage on other people, especially if my quest is harder to complete because I have less armor. I need to get all the value I can. Boon really does help you do that. I like playing Boon. Let's talk low armor heroes. And what I mean when I say low armor heroes is 10 or less. Right now, their quests are pretty hard to complete. So to balance that, you're going to need a hero power that really gives you some value and help you win some games. So these are the ones where you really want to make sure you know how to play these heroes and get the most value out of them, because if you don't, and they take too long, you're dead. You don't have any armor. You don't have time to complete that quest. If you don't have good turns, you're just dead on turn probably 8 to 9. So you really want to make sure you know how to play these and you can get the most value out of them. Shutter Walk in the right lobby is phenomenal. You trigger battle cries on your turn. Means you're generating stats, economy, summoning additional minions. I mean, Shutter's great. Of course, it depends on the lobby. I prefer demon lobbies if I want to play Shutter because, hey, a picky eater that gets to trigger twice on the first turn is a lot of tempo and gives you a big advantage, and you really can complete the quest. That armor being that low makes it kind of tough. If you have a bad game, you will lose. But that edge you get from that triggering of battle cries right off the bat in extra time is a big deal depending which ones you find. The Rat King. The Rat King is one of those low armor heroes that really can help you complete quests because of the nature of his hero power. The fact that you know what tribe it's giving you that turn. When you hit it, you can see if it's a battle cry, a death rattle, whatever you might happen to need, Rat King can really help you get there. Yeah, there's always a chance that Rat King doesn't give you anything and it's the wrong minions and it's the wrong tribe. It's just wrong everything. You're gonna lose those games. He doesn't have enough armor to survive there. But you're getting cheap discovery to complete quests, and that's usually pretty good. So Rat King, pretty dependable. And now Patchwork. Patchwork is not a zero armor hero. I know I'm putting him down here in the low armor heroes because Patchwork has no armor, right? No. And that's one of the problems with how Blizzard does things. He does have armor. You just can't see it. I don't remember the actual value of last time because it was mentioned in a tweet somewhere in a previous quest meta. It was a while ago. I believe he's considered to have 12 now. I feel like he was 16, 18, and they put him down to 12 last I saw. We're talking at least a year and change ago. The Patchwork is really good. His armor is a nice mid-range. He's got so much extra health it doesn't matter. A lot of people are playing heroes that essentially do not have hero powers, or they're never using them really. So you're kind of on par with everybody. Your quest might be a hair slower than some of the other people, but you've got so much extra health. Who cares? You can afford to find the things you need. You have more time to make those decisions and get the bigger value. So Patchwork, definitely worth it. He does not have zero armor. He's got at least, I want to say 12, but since they don't tell us and it's not listed anywhere on the website, that's my memory. Trade Prince Scallywigs. Okay, this is my favorite hero right off the bat. We're gonna say right now, this is my number one. If you don't have a high armor hero, you take Trade Prince. If you do have a high armor hero, you probably still take Trade Prince, depending on the tribes. You have elementals, murlocs, or pirates. If I have two of those, it's an instant I'm playing Trade Prince. Is it all three of those? There's no hesitation. I'm clicking. I'm ignoring the other heroes because I want to play Trade Prince. I like APM play. Trade Prince Scallywigs thrives and exists wholly for this. You want to have 50 gold a turn? Trade Prince Scallywigs. You want to cycle the entire time nonstop? Trade Prince Scallywigs. Are you on mobile? Maybe not Trade Prince Scallywigs, but Trade Prince is nutty. You could set up, single turn completions for a hero with very low armor. If you cycle enough right off the bat, you're sitting there on turn 3 and you just cycle, and you get the right setup. And then the next shop has a couple patient scouts in it on turn 4. And you're like, well, they're no tribe, but it doesn't matter because you're banking gold. You've spent some of the gold. You've got gold you banked from the previous turn. You really can go nuts with Trade Prince Scallywigs. He is very different to play in the early game, especially because you have to recognize the cards you could sell to get that big value in the following turn. And you usually do get trashed on turn 3, but there's a lot of cards you can cycle in the shop. That means when you get to turn 4 and you've got your quest appearing, that means you're probably sitting there with a lot of extra gold, realistically 3 to 4, but 3 to 4 extra gold on turn 4 is a huge deal if you get the right shop. And yeah, I'm talking about like a double Elemental or a double Patient Scout shop, but those happen. And when you're playing someone like Trade Prince, for another hero, they might be a non-starter. You're like, yeah, this is garbage. No, but for Trade Prince, you're like, give me this garbage. I'm going to make this work. And you're going to cycle it out and get some big value to complete quests quick just because of the hero power. Now, the issue with Trade Prince is the armor is almost nothing. So Trade Prince is either going to be a first or a last placed hero. You're either going to blow out the lobby or you're going to get destroyed. You're probably going to go down to single digit health, and then you are going to be a steamroller and just roll over everybody or be dead then instantly, no questions asked. You already knew it was coming. It's a very fun gameplay loop. Can be frustrating. It does take a little while to figure out if you're not familiar with it, but it's really all about cycling cards as much as possible. Trade Prince Galawix, easily my MVP. Now that we see the heroes I like, let's look at the heroes that other people like. So first, we're going to look at the top 1%. These are their top tier heroes. They're rank 1. They're all-time best. This is what they're using. Now, let's take a look at the top 50% of the population. So this is the vast majority. We're talking about a lot more games, as you can see here, versus what the 1% is being played. But look at the heroes. They're very similar. They kind of all have the same idea. It's either their abilities can make up for it, or they have a lot of armor, or in most of these cases, in almost all these cases, just have a lot of armor. Because a lot of armor is just consistent. And it's unfortunate, but since you can complete a quest so fast and get rewards so much better than any hero power can ever give you, you're better off taking the hero that you'll never touch their hero power for to get the reward. Kind of frustrating. I really, the quest meta in me, I don't mind playing it, but it's one of my least favorite, if not my least favorite meta, because it's never balanced really well because there's too many things to balance. It's much better than it was originally. Still not great to me. I'm just not a huge fan of this meta. And luckily, it should be gone, say, first to second week of April. So we won't have to deal with this too much longer, hopefully. So that's everything. Tell me what you think. What heroes do you like to play? Do you think I'm insane? Do you think all these heroes are stupid? Did I leave something off the list, either just through forgetfulness or it's a hero I just don't like to play that you think is fantastic that should be on this list? Do you agree with me for the most part? Are you waiting patiently for the quest meta to end because you either hate it or you're just tired of it? You know, there's so many things I love about this game that even when I'm playing a meta I despise, I still want to play. I still have a good time. I still like sitting there with my chat and laughing and playing community games and just enjoying the game. That I can get past a mechanic that I despise. I mean, I still love this game, so I'm always going to want to hopefully keep playing it. But even in a meta like this, where I don't like anything, I'm having a good time. Where are you with it? What do you think? Tell me what you think, folks. Leave a comment below. Let me know. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Please help the channel grow. If it grows, if I'm having a good time, I mean, I'm having a good time regardless, but it's easier to have a good time when you see some success. That always feels good. Thanks for watching all. I'll catch you next time. Later.